Let's jump right into this explainer and uncover the psychological blueprint behind literally one of the most unlikely success stories of our time. We all know the icon, right? But today, we're going to break down the exact mental architecture Arnold Schwarzenegger used to build his incredible reality. Think about this staggering number for a second: 74%. Almost 3/4 of people are just aimlessly drifting through life, absolutely hating their jobs. And you know why? Because they simply don't have a goal. They kind of just wander around, a job opens up, they take it because, well, we all have to pay the bills. But since there's zero intention behind it, that daily grind inevitably becomes miserable. I mean, it's wild to realize that only about 1/4 of us are genuinely enjoying what we do. So what's the difference between seeing work as this miserable chore versus a fun, engaging adventure? It entirely depends on whether you're a drifter or if you're a visionary driving toward a purpose. Arnold actually compares this to a medical student. Medical students study insanely hard, but they know exactly why they're doing it. They're going to be doctors. The drifter doesn't have that destination, so every single step feels like a ton of bricks. But the visionary? They have a clear path that actually makes all that hard work fun. Which brings us perfectly to rule 1. Have a vision. Seriously, if you don't know where you're going, you're going to end up nowhere. To see how Arnold pulled this off, let's look at his timeline. Born in Austria in 1947, right after World War II. His parents wanted a totally normal life for him, maybe a farmer, a factory worker, something safe. But at just 11 years old, he sees this documentary at school showing off America. Massive skyscrapers, 6-lane freeways, huge bridges. Right then and there, he decided, nope, no farmhouses for me. I'm going to America. Fast forward to age 20, he's already in London, crushing his goal and becoming the youngest Mr. Universe ever. And this brilliantly shows the exact blueprint he sketched out after a fateful trip to a store in Graz. He saw a magazine with Reg Park on the cover, a 3-time Mr. Universe who was starring as Hercules on the big screen. Arnold reads this article and literally maps out his entire life in 3 steps. Step 1, become a bodybuilding champion, just like Reg Park. Step 2, get into movies, just like Reg Park. Step 3, make millions of dollars, be rich and famous. You guessed it, just like Reg Park. Suddenly, he knew exactly where his life was headed. And that leads us to this next idea. Purpose makes hard work easy. See, once you lock onto that target, your whole relationship with effort just completely flips. Back in the pumping iron days, people were always asking him, how on earth are you working out for 5 to 6 hours a day, and yet you're walking around with a massive smile on your face? Usually people working that hard look totally miserable. But because he had that crystal clear vision of the Mr. Universe title right in front of him, he literally couldn't wait to get back under the bar. Doing a grueling 500-pound squat, that wasn't torture for him. It was an opportunity. He would eagerly push through mind-numbing routines. We're talking 2,000 reps of sit-ups here. Why? Because he totally understood the underlying math of success. He knew that every single rep, every single plate he lifted was just a required brick he needed to lay to build his ultimate reality. The crucial takeaway for us here is that excruciating physical labor wasn't actually work to him in the traditional sense. Like he said, he was shooting for gold. When you can vividly visualize a goal and you actively go after it, the pursuit itself becomes fun. The resistance you face literally becomes the exact tool you need to succeed. And here's the wild part. He didn't just use this for bodybuilding. He took this exact same visionary framework and applied it to politics. The presidency? Out of reach since he wasn't born in the US. So what does he do? He ignores everyone telling him to run for a smaller local office and goes straight for the governorship of California. We're talking about the largest state, the 5th largest economy in the entire world. And he won it in 2 months. Just incredible. All right, rule 2, ignore the naysayers. Now, throughout his entire life, the main chorus he heard from everyone else was, "That's impossible," or "No," or "It can't be done." But whenever critics tried to shut him down with all that negativity, he performed this brilliant mental magic trick. He basically developed a filter in his brain. When someone said it can't be done, he literally translated that in his mind to it can be done. When they said no, he heard yes. When they said impossible, he heard it is possible. He fully embraced this powerhouse mindset. It's very much like Nelson Mandela's belief that everything is always impossible until someone does it. Arnold was completely comfortable attempting things that had literally never been done before. If it had never been done, fine. He was just going to be the guy to show them exactly how to do it. So he just shut out the noise and got to work. He took that fanatical 5 hours a day gym work ethic and aimed it directly at Hollywood. We're talking intense English classes, accent removal, acting lessons, all day long. Even when his first movie, Hercules in New York, was a total flop, he didn't even flinch. He just kept building his skills until he finally landed those breakthrough roles in Stay Hungry and Pumping Iron. Which brings us to the ultimate payoff, turning liabilities into assets. This is that incredible moment when his greatest supposed flaws morphed into his legendary strengths. Early on, executives told him his massive body was a huge liability. Nobody would buy it on screen. But then comes Conan the Barbarian. It's a smash hit at the box office in 1982, and the director, John Milius, famously said, "If we wouldn't have had Arnold, we would have had to build one." The very body they criticized had suddenly become his greatest cinematic asset. And guess what? The exact same thing happened with his voice. That thick, foreign accent that Hollywood insiders ruthlessly mocked and told him to ditch, it turned out to be the defining characteristic of his entire career. After filming The Terminator, James Cameron straight up told the press that if Arnold hadn't had that specific accent and talked like a machine, the movie wouldn't have worked at all. His liabilities became his greatest assets, simply because he refused to listen to the losers. So as we wrap up this explainer, the big takeaway is absolutely clear. Constructing a clear vision and completely tuning out the critics isn't just an Arnold thing. It's a replicable blueprint for shaping your own reality. The only question left for you is, what impossible vision are you going to start building tomorrow? Or are you just going to keep drifting?